Go to the internet. Coming to you live from the Robert W. and Patricia A. Maurer Center. Welcome to the 2020 Paul J. Hooker Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership Hall of Fame.
And welcome to the 2020 Paul J. Hooker Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership Hall of Fame. My name is Ray Braun, and I am a proud alumnus and the Dean of the Allen W. and Carol M. Schmidhorst College of Business. Tonight, we will honor 4 entrepreneurs who have improved our world through innovative thinking and doing. Their entrepreneurial achievements have had a global impact and brought honor to our university. We are proud of the accomplishments of Richard Allen, Bethany Bryant, Al Green, and Brad Seaman. Thank you all for attending this special virtual ceremony recognizing their success. We are live streaming the ceremony from the William F. and Peggy L. Schmeltz Atrium in the Robert W. and Patricia A. Maurer Center, which was dedicated last evening. 3 of our inductees and their families are here with us to receive their awards, and we will be observing social distancing and safety protocols throughout the ceremony. It is now my pleasure to welcome the president of Bowling Green State University, Dr. Rodney Rogers.
Thank you very much, Ray. It is wonderful to be with you this evening in this incredible facility. This Hall of Fame started in 2008, and the purpose of it was to honor alums and friends of Bowling Green State University that have gone out and done amazing things. And these 4 individuals that we are honoring tonight, I'm looking forward to hearing their story, because that story is one about perseverance, I'm sure. It's about grit. It's about creativity. It's about innovation. It's about thinking about how to solve problems and move companies forward, society forward, through business and through the economic system that we have here in the United States. And that is very powerful. As we are in this amazing facility, I look around and I see the names of the individuals who made this possible. And they are those entrepreneurs. They are those individuals who are making a difference in our society and in our community. And so to each of our 4 inductees tonight, it is my honor to welcome you, to thank you for allowing us to honor you. You are an inspiration to our faculty, our students, and to alums across the world that are with us tonight. And so again, thank you for being here. I look forward to this wonderful evening, and to each of you, congratulations.
It's now time to begin the induction ceremony for the Paul J. Hooker Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership Hall of Fame. The individuals inducted tonight will join a distinguished group of alumni and friends whose entrepreneurial spirit and achievements have been an inspiration to others and made a difference in the world. These outstanding entrepreneurs have distinguished themselves as highly successful business innovators. While each honoree has traveled along their own unique entrepreneurial path, they are united by more than BGSU. They are leaders and trailblazers who embrace hard work and risk and have consistently demonstrated courage and integrity. After you hear their stories tonight, I am confident you will agree this award is richly deserved. Now let's meet the newest members of the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame. Our first inductee is Richard Allen. Richard Allen has been a lifelong entrepreneur, developing multiple business enterprises for over 45 years. He spent the first 18 years of his business career as one of 5 partners managing the family manufacturing business Imperial Cup Corporation. The company grew from a local startup in 1968 to operating plants in 5 states. and had $100 million in sales before it was sold to International Paper in 1989. Richard spent the second half of his career developing office and industrial projects and residential communities as founder of the Allen Group. Among his portfolio is the Dallas Logistics Hub, the world's largest new industrial park. Let's hear about Richard.
My whole life history has been involved around entrepreneurship. My father started out after the war, and he began selling candy because he couldn't find work after the war, and candy was hard to get. He began a second company to make saran bags in order to package his candy. And then he started a vending business to vend the candy, and he started a foam packaging business, and he started a cup business. I had an opportunity to work in all of them and began to understand the things that it takes to become an entrepreneur.
He started small with just a few properties that he'd invested in the mid-90s or so, and grew to having 100 employees at one time, and then back down to 5 as he kind of focused in on what he really wanted to do in the industrial market.
I started out acquiring properties that were distressed, and part of those, of course, were industrial properties, office properties. So through that acquisition of land and properties, that led me to the development of office and industrial buildings on a lot of that land once the economy turned around. And those were the seeds that really grew my business.
What he did within real estate, what he figured he was really good at, was tying transportation to development. So he developed projects down near Dallas tied to intermodal hubs with railroads.
My father saw, before quite a few people did, that the intermodal terminals where these rail cars come and are turned into trucks becomes oceanfront property, because the large big box distributors, the Amazons, the Targets, the Walmarts of the world, that's where their goods are going to stop. They need their warehouses there. So if you can own all the land around these intermodal facilities, it becomes extremely valuable.
Really bringing that whole project together where someone else probably wouldn't have seen that or wouldn't have taken that risk to go out and purchase that much land and have this vision of where it was headed in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years.
Richard is a visionary. He looks big and thinks big, and he would take that vision and then find the people and give them the tools necessary to really execute against that vision.
He sets the direction for the company. He's never been one to micromanage. He comes up with the vision, where he wants to go, how he wants to do it, and generally would hire capable people and would allow them to do what they needed to do, and he just kind of set the direction for everybody.
Even in some of the downtimes that we'd had, just the nature of the real estate market, it's difficult. He's stayed optimistic and still willing to take risks and always looking for the next opportunity.
He's not afraid of failure. And I think all great entrepreneurs, you never go 20-0 in business taking risks, but you got to dust yourself off and get back in the saddle. And Richard has done that throughout his career.
Well, I think it's important when you're going through those inevitable recessionary periods in business that everybody needs to look to the company, and they're going to look to the company and the company's leadership in order to see how they handle it.
In those down times, some of the harder times that we had is when he probably impressed me the most. Just his character, always wanted to do the right thing.
I mean, I think my father is a very honest and honorable person, and I definitely respect that about him.
I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud of. Hopefully that exemplifies the business philosophy that our company has always had in terms of honesty, integrity, and the importance of relationships.
Richard, we are pleased to welcome you to the Hall of Fame. While you are unable to join us in person, please accept this virtual presentation of the award. Audience, please join me in welcoming Richard to the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame. We will now welcome your remarks, Richard.
In order to become a successful entrepreneur, as I'm sure your other guests understand, it's extremely, it requires an extreme amount of passion, an extreme amount of persistence, and a total commitment. It's having been able to watch my parents' family as they have created a number of successful enterprises, and being a part of that, I got an appreciation for how much time it really took, how much capital it took, the amount of time away from home, traveling on the weekends, and really the effort of the employees and those around you that need to support you in order to be successful. In the video, you had seen my one of my employees, Jenny Saubert, one of my very close friends, Chuck Nichols, and of course my son, Luke. And I think that was important to get them involved in order to point out the importance of support from friends, family, employees in order to make a entrepreneurial adventure successful. So I've been very blessed in order to have that. One final thing that I would point out that is critical is having a spouse or life partner who also supports your entrepreneurial efforts. My wife, Jane, of 50 years, had to live with me being gone many, many weeks, many, many days, and many, many weekends. And also had to live with me risking the family's source of income to a very large degree during difficult times. So I want to thank everyone that helped me succeed, all of my employees, friends, family members. Obviously, having my son Luke as a part of this organization from the very beginning has also been a wonderful experience, as it was for me to be a part of my family's entrepreneurial efforts. So again, thank you very much for the award, and thank you very much to the university and its administration for putting together these programs. And I look forward at some point in time to being able to spend more time in order to help advance the entrepreneurial efforts ongoing at Bowling Green. Thank you very much for the honor.
Thank you, Richard. With your vision and leadership, you have made a difference in the world. You are an inspiration to our Falcon family. Our second inductee is Bethany Bryant. As president of the private trust company, Bethany Bryant is responsible for setting and executing the strategic direction and financial success of the company through service, satisfaction, retention, and recruitment of the firm's clients and advisors. Bryant was a founding leader of the company in 1995 and served as its chief financial officer and chief operations officer until May 2012, when she was named president. She has guided the growth of the company from startup through acquisition by LPL Financial Holdings in 2003 and continues to provide outstanding leadership today. Let's learn a little bit more about Bethany.
I think opportunities come in two forms, right? They come in the form of those that you create on your own, and they come in the form of those that land in your lap. And the reality is all of those opportunities are important.
You know, I had heard of Bethany because she worked at Ernst & Young, which was our accounting firm. Someone who worked with Bethany at E&Y suggested that we should meet her because she would be a great person to join us and work together on starting this trust company.
They wanted kind of a third person to kind of run their operations and compliance and financial aspect of the company. There was some excitement around trying something new, stepping out of my comfort zone. Yeah, so I met Richard and Larry several times, and mostly it was about understanding and shaping the vision at the time. And you have to be able to take that vision, as we had it, and figure out how to make it come to life.
Bethany married that high-level strategy and that planning for how to do this business with actually how to get it done, which Richard and I had no idea how to do.
I think it takes her entrepreneurial thought process to look at something and say, okay, I'm going to do this. And she's really good at investing herself in something that she's passionate about.
And the ability for her to manage the finances, be part of the continuing strategy. How are we going to grow? How would we grow? And ultimately, the best way to grow was to merge with LPL Financial.
The private trust company was acquired by LPL to broaden our reach and our services of what we could offer to the high net worth families, and was designed to be a tool that our advisors could use to help their clients more. And she's played an integral role of taking that from a standalone private trust company based in Cleveland and now an asset and a tool that is a huge and integral part of LPL Financial.
Anytime you can have an opportunity that you run with, the next opportunity that comes down the pike almost compounds on it, right? In this particular instance, the opportunity that landed in my lap was not of my own choosing, but I embraced it.
She's adaptable. When she is given something, there's no complaining. It's basically, okay, this is a different direction than I thought we were going. For her, it's a challenge, and she takes that challenge and makes the most of it.
You see a lot of it. Executives in acquired businesses control and protect and prevent. She embraced it, and she looked around and said, hey, I can leverage that more. Hey, she'd be a helpful resource. Let me collaborate, let me partner. Could you help me do this better? And oh, by the way, let me show you what I can help with.
When she recognizes that, hey, I need help here, I can't do all of this, there's somebody better than I am, then she kind of reaches out.
She's not afraid to do it together. She's clearly in the camp as an entrepreneur. I can't be a standalone person. I'm going to be better with people's insights and lock arms and go on a journey together.
She looked at leadership not as an instinct, but as a skill that, sure, you could have the beginnings of those qualities, but you needed to train on it.
And that's a part of Bethany that makes her a great leader. And most great leaders are always learning. We don't always know everything, and that's how I've seen her grow.
I never felt like I was an entrepreneur. I didn't go through college and feel like I want to start my own company. But this bug of this really interesting opportunity to start something from the ground up caught my passion.
Bethany, please join me on stage to receive your award and give us your remarks. Audience, please join me in welcoming Bethany Bryant to the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Dean Braun, President Rogers, this is just such an incredibly humbling honor. I thank you for the opportunity to share it with all of you tonight. But as Richard said in his remarks, no one reaches a level of success without having an entire team behind them. And I have had just that, an entire team behind me. And at the root of that was really BGSU, the College of Business, its faculty, its entrepreneurial spirit, the hands-on learning, and the academic curriculum that really laid the foundation for my business career. And I couldn't have asked for a better university to jumpstart my professional life. With that came a whole host of folks, right? I would be remiss if I didn't thank Larry Hatch and Richard Beeman, my partners in crime to start this company, Christy Liris, my executive coach, my awesome team at the trust company, and all of my colleagues at LPL Financial who have really catapulted the growth of the company into its next era. You've given me essentially a lot of coaching and guidance. You've given me doors that opened that I would not have been able to walk through otherwise. And you've asked me to encourage me to take risks that I would have hesitated to do so on my own. So I thank all of you. And lastly is the team at home, right? I have an awesome, loving, supportive husband who no doubt has sacrificed much of his own personal and professional desires and priorities. And my children and parents and extended family have supported me throughout this journey. It takes a village. So thank you again to the College of Business, to Dean Braun, and once a Falcon, always a Falcon. Go Falcons.
Bethany, we congratulate you on your extraordinary achievements. You are a most deserving member of our Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is Al Green. Alan Green began his career in 1964 teaching high school science and vocational agriculture for 7 years in Paulding, North Baltimore, and Bowling Green. A side project, flipping houses, led to a successful new career path, and in 1975, he launched A.A. Green Realty, which now has annual sales exceeding $30 million. His real estate portfolio includes numerous industrial, multifamily, retail, mobile home, and development properties in and around Bowling Green. Let's hear Al's story.
Al started the real estate business pretty much on his own. He became a realtor, and he then built it up and started his own brokerage, initially Century 21 and ultimately A.A. Green.
It's taken him 35 years about to pull A.A. Green Realty from a nothing to being beautifully ranked among 2,000 realtors in Northwest Ohio. They're in the top 10.
He leads the industry by one of the obvious things, volume of property. His habitation units are in the hundreds. You know, he was one of the big players.
I call myself a native of Bowling Green, born and raised just outside of Bowling Green out on Potter Road on a farm. The hard work that you have to do on a farm, it's a great place to learn to work.
I'm a plumber, and Al Green taught me to solder. Al Green taught me to glue pipe and fittings, and basically I've been his plumbing and heating guy for 47 years.
I was working at a financial institution in Napoleon, and Al and Mary and Bob and Pat Maurer, they were buying a Maurer Green property.
Met Al basically in junior high and high school. Al and I were in vocational agriculture together, so I got to know Al and ran around a lot with Al in high school.
The university here at BG was advertising, we need homes, open your homes, we have no place for students to live. So, Bob, we ought to buy ourselves a house and rent it out to college kids in BG.
But he and I purchased 415 North Main Street. We still have it and still lease it.
We were doing carpentry, electrical. I don't know if either one of us knew what we were doing, but we were learning by doing.
We didn't start out thinking we were gonna be big landlords. We just wanted to get one or two going to see if we could do it. Eventually, we were building houses and selling them, but Al decided to stop teaching and went full-time into real estate. Well, it was just a natural progression.
The university was growing, the student population was growing, and the demand for student housing was clearly there. I can't say I had an inkling of how big it was going to be or where it would end up, but I did know one thing. Al was, he moved methodically.
He is a calculated risk taker. He's not a gambler. And there's a whale of a difference.
He also did something years ago that was very important and was diversifying a little bit, getting into other things, and got into strip centers, commercial properties.
Al leads by example. He didn't worry about getting dirty. One of the stories goes he almost missed the birth of his daughter because he was under a house with Bob in Grand Rapids jacking the floor up.
One of the best things that I did over the years was to be connected with people that were smarter than me, people that are willing to or can do the job better than I can, and that's with my son Steve and daughter Michelle.
I don't know how many times he'll say, it's got to be good for the bank, it's got to be good for the owner, it's got to be good for the tenant. If it isn't, it won't work.
My description of Al, and as I indicated here, is a man of great character and integrity. And he doesn't look for the shortcuts on doing things. He does it the right way. And has he been successful? Absolutely.
Al, please join me to receive your award and provide remarks Audience, please join me in welcoming Al Green to the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much, Dean Braun. It's an honor for me to be here, and very surprising, being a small-town realtor, to join in and become a member of Paul Hooker's Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame. I'm so proud to be a member, excuse me, a member of that group. I'm not sure exactly if I have earned the group, the ability to be into that group, but I'm very humbled and I am proud to become a member. As the previous inductee mentioned, you can't do something like this on your own. It's kind of, you start out with a business and then build into something with the help. And in my situation, it's the help of my family. Seated at the back of the room, my son Steve, Michelle, Juliana, their spouses are here. All are connected with the real estate business in one way or another, and I'm so proud to have that those guys. My wife of 53 years, going on 54, Mary, put up with a lot, like every wife, I think, of a person that's in business and trying to push ahead. It's certainly something. She passed up her chance to go probably to Bowling Green and do something because she was busy raising babies and keeping books for the business. I'd like to thank some of the folks, the three guys that were on the film there tonight. Bob's down here, Bob and Pat, with the donation here for this fantastic building. Neil Gerhardt, the plumber that you saw in the group, was a student at BGSU at the time. I was working on some apartments, and we got Neil involved in plumbing, kind of an entrepreneur of himself, but we mentored him, and I didn't even know what a mentor was at the time, but Neil ended up being the largest plumber in this part of the country anyway at that time. I'd like to also thank Rodney Rogers and Dean Braun, Kirk Hume, Kurt Kern, and the rest of the staff and faculty here with the College of Business for the job that they're doing. And you probably wonder why a guy that has a degree from Ohio State University is a donor to Bowling Green University, and there has to be something special there, and there certainly is. And it's the people that are here at BG, the people that I have mentioned, and in addition to that, the students that I've run into on a daily basis. That's what we're here, and that's what it's all about, the students. And sometimes we talk about buildings and this and that and the other thing, but the students are the things that we're really interested in and are focused on. I'm so proud to have met so many of the student ambassadors, like the folks you've seen around here this evening, and those guys are just fantastic, and I can see the work that Dean Braun and the rest have done. It's an honor and a pleasure to be a member of Paul Hooker's Hall of Fame, and I'd like to leave with a bit of advice to students that may be watching this evening and some of the students that are here. One thing that I have a little saying around the office is work hard, do good, and treat others like you'd like to be treated in anything that you do, and you'll be successful. Thank you so much.
You're on the radio.
On the end.
The next middle, yeah.
Oops. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Al, with your extraordinary hard work and dedication, you have visibly enhanced our community. As a guest lecturer in our classrooms, you have been an inspiration to our students. You are a most deserving member of the Paul J. Hooker Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame. Our final inductee this evening is Brad Seaman. Brad earned a bachelor's degree from the College of Business in 1982 and went on to a successful career in sales and private equity, including roles at Owens, Corning, and GE. Today, he leads Parallel 49 Equity in Chicago as managing partner and has overseen 5 private equity funds that raised more than $1 billion in capital. Let's hear about Brad's story.
Private equity involves investors, and Brad has been exceptional in bringing new investors to our firm. That is the lifeblood of our firm, and I view him as the leader of our firm in that respect.
His business instinct is phenomenal. We've invested in 25 companies and done close to 90 add-on acquisitions. You know, it's kind of north of $1 billion of sales.
I had a chance to do something completely entrepreneurial, and my wife was really supportive of making that change. And we started off with a very small private equity fund with the goal of investing in specialty manufacturing businesses in Canada and the US. And when I started, I was a one-person shop here in Chicago.
He definitely brought this very powerful team together that is our group of partners today. We all had the opportunity to work with Brad prior to joining. He had a chance to evaluate the team, and he brought this group together that has been together a long time and enjoys exceptional chemistry.
All of the major moves that our firm made were a result of Brad saying, why can't we do this? And it was really that boldness of Brad making those decisions that really pushed us to who we, are today.
I think if I look back at it, one of the key things that I did was every person I hired was smarter than me and better than me at something. I have 4 partners that are here in this office.
He's definitely not a micromanager. He wants to know what your plan is. He wants to know how you're going to execute your plan. And then he really leaves it to you to make it happen.
Brad is a tremendous communicator. He has the ability to engage with people from all walks of life, make them feel comfortable.
Brad and I met in 2011 when Avison Young was out looking for private equity capital.
We were the right partner for them because of our Canada-US roots, and I think we had a really good connection, and I had a good connection with Mark.
So we were about a $100 million company in 2011, and Parallel 49 put in $40 million. But it wasn't just the capital, it was really the people and the backing and the support of Avison Young. So Brad led, and he was one of the few, honestly, one of the few private equity folks that said, we will give you business from our portfolio companies where we can, and they delivered.
When we invested in Avison Young, they had about 150 brokers. Today they have about 2,400 brokers.
The number of offices, we probably went from, I'd want to put it in the 20 to up to 50 or 60 range. So there's pretty significant growth.
Brad really showed me what it could be like, invest in an enterprise and grow that enterprise over time. And I found that to be very rewarding.
For me, I think it's all about people. You can have a business that's in a so-so industry that's led by good people, great people, and that company will be a great company.
Private equity investing is a very long learning curve, and he has more years of experience than I have, and each time we do something together, I learn something from him.
I found him to be a good person, and for me, that goes so much further than the business acumen that some people possess, but when you know that somebody takes the same approach to success as we do, that the head has to also match the heart, and I found that in him. And the one thing I'll tell you, I really, really, really love the businessman. Absolutely respect and find the person to be more outstanding.
Brad, please proceed to the stage to receive your reward award and provide remarks. Audience, please join me in welcoming Brad Seaman to the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame.
Dean Braun, President Rogers, Paul Hooker, who I think is with us virtually today, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful honor, humbling for certain, and just delighted to be here tonight to accept this honor. My Bowling Green story, I think, is very typical of the Bowling Green fabric. I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland, in a middle-class family. I was one of three boys who all attended Bowling Green University, and I loved it the day I got here. I loved everything about it. I had a blast, right? We won't go into that, but lot of fun. I became a member of SICSIC. I was involved in the Greek system, was involved in, I can't even, articulate, and I'm sure you don't want me to, all the different things that I was involved with here, and it connected me to this place in a way that still exists today and still matters to me today. My business career was interesting. I had someone ask me just recently, what my plans were to get into private equity when I was graduating from Bowling Green, and candidly, I didn't even know what private equity was at that point. I started in sales. My father was in sales. He always said, nothing starts until somebody sells somebody something, and loved it, right? And I think we're all in sales in some fashion or another. I think, Dean Braun, looking at this wonderful building, you're in sales, right? I left Owens Corning and joined GE. That was a lucky break, I think, as I think about my path from graduating from Bowling Green to being here tonight. I think I was fortunate to get a few lucky breaks along the way and made the most of those lucky breaks. I joined GE. Jack Welch had become CEO a few years earlier, and GE was on a roll. It was so fun to be there. There were opportunities every place you turned around. I was hired as a sales representative in their Dallas office, and a guy named Jeff Immelt was the brand new leader of the Dallas office, and we started on the same day. And that was a lucky break for me, because one of us was going to go on to lead a Fortune 500 company, and I knew who that was, right? It was going to be him, right? He was a brilliant guy, and I was really fortunate to learn from him. I moved over to GE Capital, and at a time when GE Capital was growing by leaps and bounds, I felt like I had a checkbook and I could go out and find things to do with it, which was not exactly my job description, but it's the way I viewed it. That's where my entrepreneurial, I was bitten by the entrepreneurial bug at that point. I met three individuals who were starting a brand new steel company, which, back in the 80s and early 90s in Ohio, starting steel companies didn't seem like a very good idea. But I met these three guys, Keith Bussey, Mark Millett, Dick Teets. They were starting a company called Steel Dynamics. I got excited about that. I got GE to back them. And that's grown today into what's now a public company, $10 billion in sales and 7,000 employees. And I remember thinking, this is so much fun. You talk about not being work. It wasn't work. It was a real treat to be associated with those people. And and I'm on their board today and love every bit of it. Went from GE into my own private equity firm. You heard from a couple of my partners today who aren't usually that nice to me, so it was nice to hear them say a few nice things. I'll have to buy lunch when I get back to the office. And it's been a blast. I'd say, hard work for sure. I can tell you, owning a portfolio of highly leveraged small companies during 2008 and 2009 was not fun. I went from a full head of hair to not so much over that period of time. But we've done good things. Our investors have made out well. Our investors are primarily pension funds and endowments and large institutional pools of capital. I'm proud that we've acted with integrity over that period of time. And so started at Bowling Green, excitement, positive feelings about what could be done. I'd like to just end with 4 quick thank yous. First, my parents. My mom went back to work as a bank teller and earned the money to send my brothers and I to Bowling Green. I was very lucky. I won't go on that, or else I'll be up here making an embarrassment of myself. But nonetheless, couldn't be more appreciative of that. Second, the people who I worked for over the years, who I learned so much from. Third, meeting this team from Steel Dynamics, who I mentioned, who really instilled me with the entrepreneurial spirit. Lastly, my wife, Lindsay. I remember the day that I was a semi-successful person at GE, and I came home and said, I want to go do this private equity business. She was home with our 6-month-old at the time, and I said, we're going to take about a 70% pay cut, but it's going to be great because I'm going to do really well. And she said, no problem. We sold one of our 2 cars, and we did it, right? So, you know, that group, you know, I mean, just owe so much to. So with that, I don't want to go on too long. I'd just like to say to Dean Braun, President Rogers, thank you all. This was an unexpected honor, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you. Oh, give you an elbow.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Brad, with your vision and leadership, you have grown and led many successful companies. You too are an inspiration to our Falcon family. Congratulations again to our newest members of the Paul J. Hooker Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership Hall of Fame. On behalf of the BGSU community, trustees, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends, we salute you for your achievements and your entrepreneurial spirit. You have made us proud and demonstrated the contributions of our alumni and friends are making throughout the world with your extraordinary accomplishments. BGSU is a better place because of you. Thank you to our audience joining us in person and virtually to honor our newest members. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you and have a good night.